Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Shaddoll deck profile. So today I'm actually going to be doing the full-blown Shaddoll deck profile. We've already done the opening review of the Shaddoll Showdown structure deck, we've done the $30 budget variant, and now we're going to be doing the competitive play variant. So I'm really excited for this one because it is probably one of my favorite decks of all time, probably in my top 5 favorite decks of all time, is Shaddoll. Any Shaddoll variant is my favorite. I love Shaddoll. So without further ado guys, let's get straight on this, but before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely become a patron or a Ko-Fi donor down there in the description. Check those links out if you guys want to donate to the channel, and let's get straight on into this. So definitely give us a like for that ultimate rare construct that I've been holding on to since Duelist Alliance. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of the Shaddoll Windy. So Shaddoll Windy is a really good card that is one of the new cards that came out of the structure deck. So I do play her at 3, and all the Shaddoll monsters share this ability that you can either activate their flip effect, or you can activate their sent to the graveyard effect. So we're not going to go over that anymore. So basically what this card does is when she's flip face up, you get to special summon a Shaddoll monster from your deck in face up or face down defense. And if she's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a Shaddoll monster from your deck in face down defense, which is really good, and I really love that effect. She really helps out getting a lot of monsters on the field and helping you swarm when you use her as fusion material, and she makes it a lot easier to go into the new Shaddoll fusion monster as well, because all you have to do is send 2 Shaddoll monsters with different attributes from your deck to the graveyard, or from anywhere to the graveyard, and she counts as a different attribute. Then we play a single copy of Shaddoll Ariel. Shaddoll Ariel, basically what she does is she flip face up, you get to target one of your banished Shaddoll monsters and special summon it in face up or face down defense. And then she also has the ability that if she's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target target up to 3 cards in the graveyard and banish them in either player's graveyard. So it can be yours or your opponent's graveyard. You can just instantly banish those cards, which is really, really beneficial. We play 2 copies of Beast. I feel like 2 copies of Beast is plenty. I feel like 3 really bricked for me when I was playtesting this deck. But basically what Beast does is if he's flip face up, you get to draw 2 and then discard 1. And if he is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you get to draw a card, which can be really helpful. We play a single copy of Dragon, just as kind of like a good... this card is pretty much here like a MST. If he's sent to the graveyard, you get to target a spell or trap on the field and destroy it. And then if he's flip face up, you get to target a monster. You get to target any card your opponent controls and bounce it back to their hand, which can be really beneficial. We play 2 copies of Shaddoll Squamata. I will really quickly mention, I really wish Konami would actually ultra rare print Dragon, because every single other Shaddoll is hollow except for Dragon, which really sucks. But we play 2 copies of Squamata. Squamata, if he's sent to the graveyard, you get to send another Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard. And if he's flip face up, you get to target a Shaddoll, or you get to target a card on the field and destroy it. A monster on the field and destroy it, which can be really beneficial to pop cards on your opponent's side of the field, or pop monsters. We play a single copy of Hedgehog. Hedgehog is pretty good too. It's kind of like the Searcher, that when it's flip face up, you get to add a... You get to add a Shaddoll spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand. I just play a single copy of Falco. Falco, to me, is a good one-of now. I really want to play 2, but it's so easy to get it out of the deck that I just play it as a one-of. Because basically what it does, if it's sent to the graveyard, you special summon it in face down defense. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to special summon Falco in face down defense. It counts as a tuner, but we don't play any synchro monsters in this deck, so it doesn't really matter. So for the other monsters that are not Shaddolls, we play a single copy of Performage Trick Clown. Trick Clown is really good in here because if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target another copy of, you can target any Performage monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but its attack becomes 0, and then you take 1,000 damage, and you can only use its effect once per turn. So you want to keep sending it to the graveyard repeatedly so you can keep getting its effect off. We play 3 copies of Performage Damage Juggler. Damage Juggler is really good in this deck because it basically prevents you from taking battle damage or from taking effect damage as well. And you can banish it from the graveyard to target a Performage monster in your deck, or add a Performage monster from your deck to your hand, which can be really, really helpful to get out, something like a Hat Trigger. Hat Trigger's effect is if you have 2 or more monsters on your side of the field, you can special summon it from your hand. I just play it as a one-of because it's my Searcher, or the search card that I'm going to search off of my Damage Juggler if I do banish it. 3 copies of Mathematician. Mathematician is MVP in this deck. That is the only normal summon that I want to have in this deck, besides maybe the Shaddoll Windy if I'm going first. But basically, Mathematician, if it's normal summoned, you can send a level 4 lower monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then when it's destroyed by battle, you get to draw a card as well. Really good 3 of in this deck. Mathematician's been good in Shaddoll since it came out. Now, basically, you normal summon Mathematician, send Squamata, and then send Beast, and then you get to draw a card. Or you send any of your other Shaddolls like Shaddoll Windy, or any of the other monsters in your deck to the graveyard, and then trigger all their effects, because every single card in this deck triggers off of being sent to the graveyard. We play 3 copies of Ash Blossom as well as our last 3 monsters. Ash Blossom is such a good card in this deck. It's ridiculous, and I highly recommend you play 3 of it. You can change it out for any other hand trap that you want. If you feel like you're playing against a lot more Spiral decks, you can take it out and put a copy of... You can put a single copy, or the 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird, or something like that. It's entirely up to you what you play in this position, but I highly recommend that you guys give a shot to Ash Blossom. So that's it for the monsters. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is really, really pivotal in this deck, because your Shaddoll Fusion sends from deck to graveyard, and if your opponent Ash Blossoms it, it kind of sucks. So you really want to play the 3 of Call by the Graves. It's really, really pivotal to the deck to play Call by the Grave. We play a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial basically lets us send any of our monsters from our deck to the graveyard to trigger their effects, because every single Shaddoll triggers off of being sent to the graveyard. So that's a thing. I mean, it just really helps out to be able to do that. We play 3 copies of Shaddoll Fusion. Shaddoll Fusion is so good. It is such a good card, and the only reason that this deck even works, but it would work without Shaddoll Fusion, but it wouldn't be as good. But basically what you do with this card is if your opponent controls a monster that's special summoned from the extra deck, you get to use your entire main deck as materials to fusion summon a Shaddoll monster, which is really, really, really good. You can special summon any of your Shaddoll monsters with this card, and it's really crazy. We play 3 copies of El Shaddoll Fusion as well. El Shaddoll Fusion is such a good card too. It's a quick play polymerization essentially that lets us fusion summon fusion monsters or Shaddoll monsters, which can be really, really, really helpful. So we definitely play that as a 3 of. We play 3 copies of Super Polymerization. Super Polymerization was actually a reprint in the structure deck, which was absolutely crazy to me that they just put that card in there. And it's just such a good card to be able to put that in that structure deck. So you definitely want to play that card as a 3 of in this deck. It is such a good card to play in this deck. It gets out so many boards, and so many of your Shaddoll monsters can just benefit off of being special summoned with this card. Then we play 3 copies for the last 3 spells. We play 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness is such a good card in this deck too, because we play so many dark targets in this deck for Allure of Darkness that you can dig really deep into the deck to be able to get your Shaddoll Fusions and your copies of Super Polymerization, El Shaddoll Fusions, your Shaddoll monsters, Windy. Like, the list just goes on of the cards that you can actually dig out of the deck with this card. So that's it for the spells. Let's get into the traps, because we actually do play 3 traps in this deck. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 2 copies of the Rin Shaddoll Fusion or Rin Shaddoll Incarnation. This card is really good because basically what it does is it's a monster reborn that you set, which is really cool because you can reborn stuff like Construct and anything like that you might need. So you definitely want to try playing this at least 2. I like it at 2. I probably wouldn't play it at any more than 2 because it's just an overall good card to play it to, in my opinion. But that's just me. I probably wouldn't play it at any more than 2 at all. But basically the other effect is that you can banish it from the graveyard and then another Shaddoll in your graveyard, which makes some of your cards live. That lets you special summon like the Shaddoll Ariel. If it's in the graveyard, you can banish it in the Shaddoll and either flip a face-down monster you control to face-up defense or change a face-up monster you control to face-down defense. So it flip-flops your monster so you can kind of pick and choose the effects that you want to activate your Shaddolls. And then we play a single copy of the Shaddoll Core. So Shaddoll Core is basically just here for its effect of, if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target a Shaddoll spell or trap in the grave and add it to your hand. So basically you want to send this off of Construct to be able to get your Shaddoll Fusion, your L Shaddoll Fusion, your Shaddoll Incarnation, any of those cards back to your hand, which can be really, really beneficial. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. I believe it's 42, if I hold myself correctly. It might be 40. I didn't really count it right before the profile. I'm pretty sure it's 42, but it might be 40. Because I kept playing around with it and testing it and taking cards out and in and out of the deck. So just bear with me. So then we play 3 copies of Construct. Construct is really good in this deck. I do play the Ultimate, I play an Ultra, and I play the new artwork of the card as well. I really like all 3. But basically what Construct does is if she battles, it takes a light monster and a Shaddoll monster to make her. But her effect is that she can be fusion summoned by she can only be fusion summoned, or she must first be fusion summoned, and then you can send a Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard when she's special summoned. And at the start of the damage step, if she battles a monster that was special summoned, you can destroy that monster. And if she's sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Shaddoll spell or trap directly from your graveyard back to your hand. Then we play 2 of the new Shaddoll fusion monster. I really feel like she's a good 2 of, because you have so many times that you can go into her. Like there's so many resources in this deck that you can just go into this card. But basically her effect is she can't be destroyed by battle, and then she has 2 effects as well that you can only use each of them once per turn. If she's special summoned, you can target a card on the field and then negate its effects. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Shaddoll card from your deck to your hand, deck or graveyard to your hand, and then discard a card, which is not that big of a deal because they all trigger off of being discarded. So it's really more of a plus. Then we play 2 copies of Winda. Winda is really good in this deck too. I'm so glad that they gave her an alternative artwork and Construct an alternative artwork. It's just really nice. But basically what Winda does is it makes it so either player can only special summon once per turn, and then she also can't be destroyed by her opponent's card effects, but she can be destroyed by your card effects. And then you can target a Shaddoll spell or trap card in your graveyard when she's sent to the graveyard and add it back to your hand. I play a single copy of Shikanaga. Shikanaga is just, in my opinion, a good 1-of in this build. I don't feel like I would probably play any more than one Shikanaga, but she's really good to put on the field to kind of disrupt your opponent with a Winda. Must be special summoned, and during either player's turn, when a spell or trap is when a monster is special summoned, activates its effect. While you have a Shaddoll card in your hand, you can negate the activation if you do destroy that monster, and then you send the Shaddoll monster from your hand to the graveyard. But you have to have a Shaddoll in your hand to activate that and resolve that ability. The effect of this card, it shares the other effect of if it's sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Shaddoll spell or trap directly from your hand or from your graveyard to your hand. And then we play a single copy of Starving Venom Fusion Dragon for our last Shaddoll, our last fusion monster. But basically this is just here for super polymerization. That's the only reason I play the Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. It's really good for super poly because sometimes your opponent's playing dark and you have something for light, you have something for Shaddolls, you have something for dark and Shaddolls, and you have something for earth. But the Starving Venom can help out in certain situations, just be a big beat stick, and it can really help out being able to board wipe. I play a single copy of Exciton Knight just to board wipe, and it's also another light target. 1 copy of Boral Sword to OTK, 2 copies of Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep actually just spiked and went to like $11, which is crazy because it's a rare. But the big effect of Cross Sheep is, if a monster is special summoned to this card's zone, which is always going to be a copy of a fusion monster, you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard, and that's the big effect that you're going to want to resolve with Cross Sheep. You really do need, even after Link format ends in Master Rule 5, you're really going to need this card still because of the being able to special summon from graveyard. We play a single copy of the Shaddoll Construct because it's like a walking polymerization or Shaddoll fusion in a way. And then I play 1 copy of Reproduxosaurus because it changes attributes, which can be really helpful to fusion summon with super polymerization. You make this, call either earth, dark, or light, and then you fusion summon your opponent's monster away with this card, or with their card and your card on your side of the field, and then you special summon out a Construct, Winda, Shikanaga, whatever you need. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I really am looking forward to some mirror matches with this deck because of super polymerization, and I cannot wait. I'm really excited for that. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely tell me what you think of this video down in the comments down below. Tell me what you think of this Shaddoll deck profile. You guys know it. It's coming. We're going to have Shaddoll deck profiles everywhere, all over the channel for a little while. I'm going to try and break them up a little bit so we don't just have Shaddolls for an entire week like we've done before, because we're not at a special point in the channel where we're not like 20,000 subscribers, but we are
releasing the Shaddoll deck profiles pretty regularly. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.